New Zealand's going to come out and look for a little bit more of what we saw against Australia. The good thing about the Tongan match, I think, as a spectacle, it was good, and the fact that they kept them to 0. But apart from that, I don't think you can draw too much. They'll look to that first game against Australia, where there are perhaps a number of unforced errors. Those are the things that they've got to focus on. They've got to give a lot more attention, I think, to detail, take care of the little things, and the big things will unfold. But this Great Britain side, there's a lot of speed in it. The mobility, a lot of has been made the fact that there's only 2 prop forwards, but athleticism, they've got it all.
Great Britain must win by 20 tonight to go into next week's final against Australia. Who will it be? New Zealand or Great Britain in Vodafone International Rugby League? Stick around. Friday Night Football has plenty of it still to come.
In Auckland for this third game of the Tri-Series of 1999, and the door is open to the final, most especially for New Zealand, but still for Great Britain. The side who I believe, coming here with plenty of support, Brent Todd, has the ability to turn things around from last weekend.
Well, they certainly do, and I'm sure they'll be a little bit hurting from what happened in Australia last year. And look at the fans they've turned out. They reckon there's about 1,500 to 2,000 fans, Great Britain fans who have come over, and they are pretty rowdy out there. So if Great Britain are in with a little bit of a chance or a little bit of a sniff, they'll get right behind them. And looking at the crowd out there now, it's not as packed as it was when they took on the Australian side. You see the Great Britain side in the dressing room there, very calm. They're out in front of the crowd just doing a few ball skills and having a nice warm-up. Frank Intercolt there just drumming home those last instructions to his players.
Well, this is a tough one for him, Toddy, to build up to that real intensity of the first game against the Aussies.
Well, it is, because there's just always that excitement when you play Australia, and you can, I mean, the players would know that there's not a packed house like last time. Now, Frank will be there telling his players, you've got to forget about all the distractions they've had all week and go out there and do it for those fans who have turned up. And there are plenty of Kiwi fans out there as well. They're all here to see a Kiwi win. But you can just feel that it's not as exciting as last week against the Australians. Everybody expects the Kiwis to win, and when you're going as dead set favourites, sometimes it can be very tough on you.
Well, as I mentioned, third game tonight of this series. The opener on October 15, and a terrific win by the Kiwis after that unbelievable first 40. And then Australia with the massive finish against Great Britain, who really tied in the last 15, 42-6. That sets up a bit of a buffer for the Kiwis. You see the points differential there with the points for and against, +2 for the Kiwis. And Great Britain at -36. But in modern rugby league, that can be turned around as you seek the final equation to get there next week. They need a 20-point victory. The Kiwis can afford a 19-point loss. Hopefully, they're not thinking about that at all. Crowd not as big as it was for the game against the Australians. But Andy Farrell knows they still have some chance. They created the opportunities last Friday night in Brisbane, just failed to finish. Probably better for the outing, but they must find an 80-minute performance, Great Britain, tonight, to really find their way home. Still sets up a comparison as far as the Northern and Southern Hemisphere is concerned in the world of rugby league. This Great Britain side, though, have some real playmakers. Relinsky at fullback, Robinson, Cummins, the centres, the experienced Connolly with Keith Senior, the man to watch at 5'8", Easton Harris with Ryan Sheridan, the skipper Andy Farrell, Morley and Joint in the second row, and a pretty tough and powerful front row of Lawton, Cunningham and McDermott. The key man, though, is Easton Harris, and after watching the first 2 games, he knows there's a pretty big hurdle to climb tonight.
Well, if we win tonight, I think we've got to really meet them tough in the forwards. Obviously, we're only going in with 2 props, so all our forwards are going to have to play it tough with their forwards, and we're going to have to play a lot of football against them.
Can't afford to give him too much room. Terrific on his feet. Wonderful ball player, and most clubs around the world chasing him for next season. Along with that man, Andy Farrell. Kiwis make their way up. Injured Stacey Jones. First time The Kiwis won't be with him in some 18 test matches. Kiwis keep them waiting, the skipper Richie Barnett, just to let them cool their heels out there. Farrell wanting to get on with things. McDermott to take on Joe Buggener. Richie Barnett with some final words. He gets the hurry up from officials. Don't know that this helps things either when you're trying to get your mind online.
Yeah, last week we saw the same tactics used by the New Zealand side. Well, in the first half, I've got to say they went out there and they were fired up. But taking their time and just leaving the English boys out there waiting.
Barnett and company. The full Kiwi contingent now to make their way out. The final awaits tonight for those who are simply good enough. And a crack, possibly, at history. Forwards did it in game one against the Aussies. Likewise tonight to lay the foundations early, not to give any hint of a chance at all for Great Britain. This side has been building for a number of years now. Terrific squad, plenty of depth throughout for Frank Endicott. Most importantly, Robbie Paul to wear the number 7 jumper, stepping in for Stacey Jones. The skipper at fullback, Barnett, Nigel Vuggener, Vainikolo, Wiki and Talau. Terrific centre pairing. Then the Paul brothers together in the halves. Swan, Rua, Kearney, Joe Vuggener, Richard Swain and Craig Smith are terrific. And big pack of forwards. And of course, Henry Paul is looking forward to this one after a disappointing end to his season in Great Britain.
Yeah, it's hit me pretty hard. This is my salvation, so to speak. You know, I really want to put in a really good effort, and I want to win.
Lost the big one, lost out in that for Bradford. But they have a wonderful opportunity in this tri-series. Vainikolo will give support to Barnett at the back.
You can also see a lot of focus there on the Kiwis' minds. They are really trying to tune in, forget about all those distractions, just knowing that they've got to go out there and do those little things. If they do little things right, the outcome will go their way. But I just saw two of the Great Britain forwards, the two big front rowers, how times have changed. They're giving each other a big hug. They're very emotional, those two guys. They know they've got a big job out there to take on the big Kiwi pack.
Governor General, along with Richie Barnett, making his way down the Kiwi lineup. Sir Michael Hardy boys just wishing them all the best. And some of the formalities that players often find put them on edge.
Yeah, it's probably one of those things that the players don't really like. I mean, it's one of the things, the duties you have to do, but as a player, all you want to do is get out there and get into the action.
Plenty of support for Great Britain, who will find voice in this.
Our gracious Queen, long live our noble Queen, God save our Queen. Save her victorious, happy and glorious, long to reign over us. God save our Queen. God of nations, at thy feet, in the bonds of love we meet. Hear our voices, we entreat. God defend our free land. God's Pacific's triple stars from the of strife and war. Make her praises heard afar. God defend New Zealand.
Still another great atmosphere here at Ericsson. The Kiwis to a man, hand over the heart, as they set themselves for their own haka, and a huge early onslaught in this game 3. Tim Mander, the Australian, in charge of this one, on debut as well. Farrell to settle it down for Great Britain. Outstanding talent under enormous pressure now to pick up the pace after last week against the Aussies, and that 42-6 goal line. Tim Mander just waiting for the nod from both skippers. Still he keeps them waiting. Not quite sure what this is all about.
Okay, no starts. Don't go early.
Finally we're underway. And down for Barnett, who decides to take them on himself as the Great Britain forwards fly in. Play a feeling between these two sides from last year's tour series. That third test finishing in that pretty emotional draw.
Yeah, that's right. You can see the English forwards there are pretty fired up. They're going in, and look for a few dirty tactics too from the English just to try and unsettle these big forwards from New Zealand side. But there he goes. Big smoking Joe, and the crowd love him.
Joe Wagner came from about 30 metres back, and he carries 3 and 4 into Great Britain territory. Henry Paul trying to get it away from Malinsky, but sends it straight to him. Hung it up for a long time. Kearney gets down there, along with Robbie Paul. Jason Robinson, got to watch for him. He is a real threat, doesn't need much room. Ball was put down, and this really does set up a great chance early for the Kiwis. McDermott had a quick look at the defensive line, just coughed it up.
Yeah, he didn't hit the advantage line very well there. Didn't have a big run up, but he saw the forwards coming in. The defence of New Zealand's been pretty strong.
Man he looked at was Ruben Wiki, who defensively was outstanding in game 1 here.
And he's one player who can put on a big hit, Ruben.
Barnett as a decoy down the blind. Now, left alone, Robbie Paul. Still, Willie Talau, just 10 metres away. They got a flying start against the Australians. Vainicolo. He'll finish up only 3 away. Kearney trying to stand one. Great Britain way offside.
On 3. Steve, they get sucked in. Straight up. Straight up.
Mander needs some calls from his touch judges. Joe Wagner again. Well taken. Fine tackle down low from Ryan Sheridan.
Right here.
Barnett straight across the field. Kearney living dangerously, Great Britain, allowing men just to drift across, looking for runners. Like this now, Matt Rua, right in front of the posts. Either side now is the threat.
Don't go early, wait!
Henry Paul along the deck to the in goal. Francis Cummins Away from Smith, does he? No! They'll get it back. Here comes some more pressure.
Yes, great stuff there from the New Zealand side. They knew exactly what was happening. The little kick in behind. Great Britain put under enormous pressure here by the Kiwis. Another 6. Already the Paul boys working very well. Just couldn't get out.
Becoming something of a tradition here at Ericsson, not just with the Warriors, but with the Kiwis to man this early onslaught.
Well, it is an impressive start from Henry Paul, taking the game by the scruff of the neck. 2 good kicks, able to turn this Great Britain side around. They will struggle. This breeze is tough, a swirling breeze. If any kicks go up in the air, they certainly won't get a lot of distance on it. But the Kiwis, a good start. Plenty of decoys for the ball players too. Those props getting through a ton of work.
Joe Wagner is making big inroads. They go nice and wide. Vanicola does well to pick that one up.
Come up, boys, come up.
He draws the attention of 3 players in defence. Now to Smith. Likewise to try and draw them in to see if he can set it up nice and wide. Kearney unloads. Good quick defence from Great Britain though on this occasion. Ball and all on Henry Paul. Now Robbie Paul to set it up for somebody to climb. Knocked back, but it'll be put over the sideline by the Kiwis. And a handover, so well handled in the finish by Great Britain.
Yes, good defence by the Great Britain side. Put under enormous pressure there from the kicking game of Robbie Paul. That was a beautiful kick. Beautifully weighted, but New Zealand just couldn't finish it off.
It's hit your leg and come and hit him. You didn't play it, so it's a scrum. It's accidental offside. Scrum here.
So, yet again, more possession. Now, they ran out of juice in the last 15 minutes against the Australians in Brisbane. And they're certainly using up some early petrol here.
Well, they're really scrambling in defence and using up a lot of energy in defence. And New Zealand are spreading the ball nice and wide and shifting those big English forwards around.
Ruben Wiki, 3rd time, got to his feet. Talau just spinning in the tackle. Good quick play the ball. That's what's required. Barnett. Robbie Paul dummy. 2nd time Matt Rua on the inside. Well held.
Let it go.
Tackle was made by Chris Joint. Needed to be. Barnett staying in the line. Hammered. Good ball and all tackle from Kieran Cunningham.
No hands. Don't go in.
Got to come up with some points.
That was 4 out.
Miles of possession. Robbie Paul now looked to be tripped there by Adrian Morley.
2 hands on there.
Was it charged down? Not played at. Yes, it was, says Tim Mander. So they get it 6 more again.
You put yourself in the position.
Working hard at it. Most notably Great Britain to try and
Stand up, no hands.
stop this scoreboard from ticking over.
Wait back.
Wiki back on the inside. Again, they get there in big numbers.
Hold back. No, far too much.
Well, had my own man to the last couple of minutes. He had a few opportunities to penalise them for offside. He's played some long advantages. This time he's had enough at the way they've tried to slow it down.
Yeah, they certainly have tried to slow it down there. The Kiwis will work hard to try and get up for a quick play, the boys. We see here Ruben's trying to move, trying to get up quick. But the English players probably a little bit tired, just trying to set their defence. Penalty had to come.
I think Andy Farrell trying to be happy with just giving up 2 points.
Well, after all the possession the Kiwis enjoyed, he may well be thinking that an impressive start. As mentioned, Ruben Wiki finding himself in the middle of the park, showing that he wants to continue this forward-type play that he's well renowned for. A good battle between Keith Senior and him. Keith Senior, a very strong player, also been impressed with the tackle rate of Kieran Cunningham. He's just been fantastic.
Henry Paul kicked brilliantly against Australia, now gets on deck here to break the ice. 2-0 the Kiwis. Keith Senior.
Sorry, Karen.
With a tough job out wide, Willie Talau, Ruben Wiki.
Just hanging down a little bit in those tackles. I gave you the benefit of the doubt with a few of them. Not the last one. Don't
Great
go
Britain.
early here. Wait.
That's the opening 7 minutes, really buried deep in their own territory as the Kiwis enjoyed so much possession. Logan Swan.
And that's a big plus for the Great Britain side, really. You know, they know that their defence is very strong. The Kiwis haven't been able to break it in 4 or 5 sets close to the line, so that's a big bonus for them. And they haven't had the ball yet, so it just depends on how much petrol's getting taken out on this defence, because they're defending like no one's business out there. They need the ball.
Just a quick mention earlier tonight, the Kiwi Ferns won the decider against the Australians. If you're interested, 26-14 in what was a pretty attractive game of rugby league. Another penalty against Great Britain. Not a good kick. Off the side of the boot from Henry Paul.
Wait for the touchy. Wait for the touchy.
Craig Smith. Entire back line of Great Britain tonight made up with Wigan and Leeds players as they settle with the combination of Ryan Sheridan and Easton Harris. 7-1, staggering early. One thing to like about the Kiwis over the last couple of seasons has been their better control in completed sets.
Yeah, that's one thing they do very well, and they have got decoy runners, so that means the players are going in there and they're running, you know, as dummy runners, prepared to put that little bit of effort in. It does help the guys who are getting the ball.
Henry Paul, maybe this time. Matty Roar will go under the posts. Just had to come. The stats told you that. Right on cue, 6-0.
Yes, great stuff from the Kiwis. They had both options. They could go blinds or open. Henry Paul, nice little jig. The defence a little bit soft, but it had to break. It had to eventually come. It's a nice start there for the New Zealand side.
Oh, the Great Britain side, they had the numbers back there. Easton Harris slow to get back in the defensive line. He still had his back turned. Henry Paul, he just exploits to get around some slower forwards. They hammered that side consecutively for 4 plays and just kept going that way. Eventually, Matt Ruhr, his support play, just outstanding, and that's a super-duper start.
What a year for Matt Ruhr. Grand final victory with the Storm. Now Henry Paul adds another 2 as quickly as you like following that try, and they rush it out to 8-0. Good thing about the Paul brothers is when you think about the loss of Stacey Jones to this Kiwi side, they're both running players and they're going to enjoy it with support inside and out like that. Barnett to start up Logan Swan. Warriors forward of the year.
Yeah, he's a tremendous player. As we have a look at the sets in possession, 8-2. Completed sets 7. That's tremendous stuff from the New Zealand side. And if they can do those little things like complete sets of 6, hold on to that ball, they'll win this game. We're all expect them to win.
1-3.
This Great Britain side are not going to go down without a fight.
Makes it kind of tough as Richard Swain ducks down a short side.
Andy, no hands! Andy, get those hands out, mate!
Makes it real tough. When you think about the fact, Dwayne Mann, that this game's been going for some 11 minutes, and Great Britain have been doing nothing except tackling.
Bring it back. Right here.
Robinson. Come back to him.
And you did right there too, Graham, is that you tackle for so long and all the sets, and there are 7 or 8 sets, and now they've got to take that ball up and do something with the ball. It's very, very hard. I'm sure their legs are very heavy out there.
Incredible, 51-6. Haven't seen stats like this for heaven knows how long. Joint with a rare break after a rare touch for him. One more tackle as they look for some better territory. Barnett right back to his own in goal. Good chase required. Gets away, does he, from coming? Taken by Senior. Heavily back slam.
Wait here. Don't stop it up. Don't stop it up.
And the Kiwis just aren't used to being down this end of the field.
Umpire 2 all the way back.
No, they're all down there. They're looking to hit that ball up. Frank's using his interchange bench well. The good thing about the New Zealand side is they are trying to spin that ball wide and shift the English boys from one side to the other.
Well, that came off a Great Britain hand, but Manda said the ball was not played at. Bonacolo Out towards the sideline.
Come off, he's pulled it. Come back. Come off. Send it back. Well done.
As you would expect, this tackles will add up against Great Britain.
Stand up, Steve.
Now it's the last tackle.
Okay, well inside 40. Offside, well offside. Good 10 metres.
Good long kick down for Belinsky to trap.
Watch his head. Watch his head.
Dummies to Jason Robinson. Heavily taken by Lowry. 7 mistakes in their own territory. Now it's early days, but they're probably lucky the scoreline is only out by 8. Dennis Betts, the experienced man, gets absolutely upended by Wiki and Logan Swan.
Yeah, great stuff there from Ruben Wiki and Logan Swan. Logan Swan does a lot of work. You don't see him. He's always in there tackling. He's always had the highest tackle count, Logan. But Ruben Wiki, you would not want to run into that guy too often.
Lawton, again Wiki.
Just see here, Ruben goes nice and low. Logan Swan over the top. Thanks for coming back to Ericsson, Dennis.
Short of the Kiwi 30.
Coming. Barry, come on, mate. Wait here.
Nigel Wagner off his wing, looking for a little bit of possession.
We've got it here.
Lowry tries to climb through the tackle of Morley. Kearney, great first 40 against the Australians.
No hands. Stand up, Steve.
Richard Swain back on the inside for Henry Paul. Last tackle. They've been in total control.
Don't go early. Don't go early.
Robbie Paul trying to get it between Cummins and Radlinski. It'll go too deep. And back to the 20.
Well, the big thing about the New Zealand side is they are controlling that ball. Completing those sets of sections. Great to see. Nice little kicking game there. And a lot of control out there. There's a lot of good talk going on. When everyone knows what's happening, it makes it much, much easier.
That tells Andy Farrell time to get out of here. Robinson. Dwayne, this Great Britain pack has really got to be feeling the pinch.
They do. They certainly are going to find it tough just to monster and try and get over the top of this Kiwi pack. They have to make sure they change angles. Ryan Sheridan doing a good job at first receiver. More of that needed, perhaps even to force the ball too wide to allow his forwards just to get over the advantage line and get away from this Kiwi markers.
Just work away this time on the fringe with Andy Farrell, where he is at his most dangerous. Flying into the line was Adrian Morley. Had a good first half against the Australians last Friday night. Sheridan sends this one straight to Barnett. Not such a good kick. He got away from Morley. And he'll finish up right on his own 20.
The thing about Richie Barnett is he always usually beats the first tackler when he's bringing the ball back out. The English guys will have to make sure they don't hold the New Zealand side down. If the New Zealanders start fighting to get up to that quick play of the ball, the penalties will come because they are slowing it down.
Matt Brewer gets a spell as Nathan Kalis gets out there in 16. Another penalty. This is the thing they do. They just give away cheap penalties just when they start to put a little bit of pressure on someone, and back come the Kiwis with even more possession.
Yeah, you can see it coming. They have been lying all over the New Zealand side. They're just trying to stop the New Zealanders from getting a roll on.
Andy, just hang on a second.
And if the New Zealanders fight, that's a great shot.
We've had 3 penalties. They've all been for the same thing, for holding down. Dennis, every time you come in, mate, you've got your hand in there, you're dragging them down. I'm telling you now, let's just get it out. We'll get the game flowing. It'll go both ways. It'll go both ways.
I didn't know you were that way, Toddy.
Again off the side of the boot. So no real improvement. Joe Wagner back out there. That's further bad news for Great Britain.
Yeah, it's not a great sight when you see Big Smoking Joe coming straight at you, and he just loves running over top of people.
Lowry with a step. And did well to look for support back on the inside.
Get off him, Dennis!
Wiki. Henry Paul operating on this right-hand side in attack pretty exclusively. Now for Robbie. Joe Wagner wants some more possession, and he goes down to the Great Britain 20. Setting it up again for Henry on this side. Nathan Kalis bounced out of one, stepped out of the second, just grabbed by Radlinski.
Come back.
Last tackle for them. Straight across the field. Numbers out there if they can climb. Knocked back for Kearney. He tries to juggle it. Back to Vinacolo. Great Britain rushes up. Misses Vinacolo. Connolly tries to get him ball and all. They scramble magnificently. Morley looking to set it up for Robinson.
This will be 0.
Quite brilliant on his feet, and they did well to handle all of that.
Yeah, you've got to take your hat off. You know, the defence has been very solid considering the ball that the Kiwis have had. But gee, I like the look of that Robinson when he gets the ball. Very, very exciting. The New Zealand side will have to watch him.
Just trying to bat it back to Kearney. And he went looking for Vinacolo, who couldn't control it after a good tackle, ball and all, from Connolly. He's an outstanding defender.
Up, play 3, come back. Everybody back.
Easton Harris hasn't had a chance to really get into the game yet, and he is the big danger man. Robinson.
That's 4. Bring it back. Same thing. You did the same thing.
Well, you heard Tim Mander say to Andy Farrell that if anybody slows it down, the penalties will go both ways. They get one. And their first chance to go down inside the Kiwi 20 danger zone.
Yeah, that's a good thing that Tim Mander's doing, because it just speeds the game up, and it means the game's going to be nice and open.
Penalties 3-1 to the Kiwis. Ball was lost. They just are struggling after coming up with so many tackles to complete their sets.
He lost it.
Well, it's certainly taken its toll, all the tackling they've been doing, and when you do get a chance with the ball, just that little bit of tightness, and a good hit there too from Big Joe.
Okay, hold it steady. No, we're going to hold it. No, we're going to hold it. It's no ball. No ball.
Midway through this first 40, and already this game,
No, don't, fellas.
pretty keenly poised with the fact that the Kiwis have had so much possession, needing maybe another try to really reflect the dominance on the stats.
I should have been concentrating.
Well, that's right. When you look at the ball that they have had, time in possession, 13 minutes to 5 minutes. They really should probably have a couple of tries on the board, just get a little bit of a buffer. They haven't got that yet, so the English side are still in the game. Fantastic if you're an English supporter. Not so great if you're a New Zealand supporter, because we want them to probably win this one with a lot of confidence and take on the Aussies next week.
They tested Tim Mander on that play, the ball. Logan Swan tried to quick hand it.
No, not play that. On 4. On 4.
Massive 70 tackles they've made. Kalis. Like the way he's broken a couple of tackles since he's got out there. Richard Swain just looking to chip in behind Cummins. Radlinski. Straight across the pad. Again dummied inside to Robinson and stayed with it. And so did Lowry with him. 11-1 those missed tackles. Still keep on thinking that this is good for Great Britain. I don't want you to go searching for the irony in that, but the score is only 8-0. Wide, it's not going to stay 8-0. Nigel Wagner will just walk across. Easton Harris with a pass that had nothing but frustration written all over it to send Wagner in for a try on his 26th Test appearance.
Yes, well, when you're standing up flat like that, Easton Harris is looking to float it out wide. I suppose it was on, there was 2 on 1, but Nigel Wagner read it so well. I suppose when you have so much ball, things have got to go your way. Great Britain, when you don't have the ball that much, things are going to go wrong.
Yeah, it's a good play, Easton Harris. Hasn't had a big involvement thus far. Drifting across the field. Nigel Wagner never going to have any problem pulling that one in. Turns back, can't believe it. Open space in front of him. And it has been a difficult start for this Great British side. Really are struggling. But, they just need to hang in there. I think the Kiwis have been doing the right thing. They've been patient. They haven't tried to push too much. And, just have been biding their time.
More than just professional in execution. Looking for 3 from 3. Great start. Now it's the right start. Now it reflects the stats and all that possession for the Kiwis. 14-0. Don't know what it is about Ericsson Stadium. Don't know what it is about the first 40. And I don't know what it is about this Kiwi side, Dwayne Mann, but they don't mind laying it on early.
Yeah, it's interesting too that they're able to do that. The bench rotation again has been impressive over their 2 opening games against Australia and Tonga. Just being frank, has just so much depth and ability just to move the side around and try and achieve the things they're trying to do out there that they train to do. On the other hand, Andy Goodway, he is really at ends trying to make some difference. Sean Long, he's about to come on, warming up on the sideline. Perhaps he's a player who can add some real spark.
Swain. Certainly like this guy in the starting lineup rather than being used on rotation as a specialist hooker from the bench.
Yeah, he's got a lot of vision from dummy half, hasn't he? He goes in there and he has a look first. And can you imagine having the 2 Ball brothers either side of you, Henry and Robbie, both yelling for the ball? He's got to make up his mind which one he goes for. And when you've got 2 classy players like that either side, it's a great position to be in.
Fine kick. Looked for the open spaces and caught it. And the chase will have Great Britain once again way back down to their own 10.
That's a fantastic chase there from the New Zealand side.
Robinson tried to get Keith Senior started and bounced out of the tackle from Ruben Wicke. Joe Wagner came in for the big hit. Mistimed it though, came off a lot worse himself.
Come on, boys, come on. Come on, Willie, come back. Come back.
15 sets coming up for the Kiwis. Only fouled on 1 occasion.
Bring it back. Get away.
But just 4 completed sets for Great Britain. Betts punishing. Great tackle, Logan Swan.
Yeah, the Kiwis have been looking for a few big hits now on the Great Britain side, just trying to unsettle them, maybe spill the ball. That one certainly connected.
Barnett. Awkward bouncing ball.
Just have a look at the timing here. Logan Swan, fantastic stuff.
Last couple of years, most especially this season, Logan Swan really has come on. You'd expect that under the care of 2 great Kiwi back rowers at the Warriors in Mark Graham and Huey McGann. Well read from Mandy Farrell to rush up. At the moment though, Great Britain side must think this is an overextended session of tackling practice.
Yeah, they've certainly done a lot of tackling out there. You've got to feel sorry for them because when they do get the ball, unless you're a winger like this bloke here, you haven't got much energy, but this guy can go.
Nothing wrong with the step, the bomb. Hands and knees out past the 20. Cummins off the other wing to try and help things.
What he should do, Robinson, is probably get in there and have a few more runs because he's stuck out on the wing. The forwards are doing all the tackling. He's probably fresh and he could make as much yardage as a big front rower after doing 4 or 5 tackles. Have a look at him here. He is so exciting to watch. The crowd love him. Ducks under, just loses his footing.
Massive metres gained for the Kiwis. We've talked about it before. This is a great Kiwi forward pack who are on a roll towards the final next Friday night.
Yeah, they move up quick and just put a little bit of doubt in your mind when you're taking the ball up. Well, even the best drop balls.
Horror start for the best man in their lineup, maybe. Huge blind side for Robbie Paul to go to if he wanted to. Stays open for Henry. And he dummies his way before sending Barnett! Barnett tries to get away from Connolly. Back inside Nigel Wagner. Was nearly headed for a double. Outstanding chase. Keep your eyes open for the chase. And the determination from Gary Connolly on Barnett. Saved it.
Yes, nice little move though from the Kiwi back line. The decoy runners took the defence off them, but Barnett there just couldn't connect. Great defence from the English boys. Just have a look out here out wide now as Henry runs across. Nice little dummy. Ruben Wicke also created the gap for Barnett. He just didn't have the legs. Great defence from Great Britain.
3 players were drawn in by Henry Paul on the decoy. Betts.
Move away. Come back, come back.
5 handling mistakes from Great Britain. That's when they do get it, they give it away.
He's knocking.
looking for something rather special and big to turn for them. Sean Long out there putting this one over the head of Barnett as Iston Harris gets put back to the bench.
I've got to say, before this game, Graham, I was a little bit concerned about the maybe complacency in the Kiwi side. Everybody expecting them to win, and so easily with 20 points, you know, to be beaten by this Great Britain side. But I've been very, very impressed with the way they've approached this game. And really, Great Britain are just not in it. The New Zealand side is shutting them out. And everything really, and I can be pretty confident in saying this, is looking pretty good for next week's final against Australia.
Wiki. You get off a short ball there from Robbie Paul. Swain. Allowed quite a luxury from dummy half. Out towards the 50 to set it up on the last to go back for the kick. And Robbie Paul to get this away from Radlinski, who dangerously goes close to the sideline. And he gets punished. Straight towards Nathan Cale, a strong tackle.
What about the chase of the New Zealand side there? There was 5 and 6 players all up. Look at the defence.
So near. Great balance from Radlinski.
Nigel, I can feel it coming on.
They all stood and looked at it. Robinson. I think he's had more hit-ups than any of the front rowers in this Great Britain side.
He's certainly been involved for a winger, hasn't he? But he can make some yardage. The other time in our own half, 18 minutes to 9. Such a professional start from the Kiwis. Great Britain players probably asking themselves, Dwayne, about whether this field is any longer than just their own 50 metres.
They might be saying things, certainly, because the hits are sticking. The Kiwi side just coming up and making sure everyone counts. That's part of the problem that this Great Britain side are having. Also, with playing into the stiff breeze, the kicking game, not able to get that length on it, and they are struggling to complete their sets. They probably just need to make sure that they can cut down the errors they have with the ball. But, of course, the Kiwis are not giving them any freebies, making them work every inch around the paddock.
Craig Smith back out there.
Gee, I've got to say, I've been very impressed with Craig Smith too. I mean, we do talk a lot about Joe Wagner and how good he is, but Craig Smith is a real worker out there and fantastic player.
Great step. Wonderful step from Henry Paul.
Ball's gone forward. Ball's gone forward.
And I think he went over suggesting that somebody was held back out of the play. He rushed over to question Tim Mander. He was looking for support runners. Shakes his head, but the penalty never came.
You right, mate?
I think it's Robbie Paul down now. I wonder if we can find anybody that was held out of this. He was looking first time up for somebody. Had to delay the pass. Didn't find anything on it. There's a concern for the ankle for Robbie Paul. Twenty tests for Robbie Paul. There's loads of talent still set sideline. Connolly had some important tackles. Absolutely no chances with the ball. McDermott.
Play 2. Wait there.
Sheridan. Awful ball out towards Andy Farrell. Morley picks up the dregs. Matt Brewer has him.
I think Great Britain's mistake too is they're just trying to take the New Zealand side on their strongest part, and that's in their forwards. Really, they should be just trying to spin them out wide and take them on out wide. There's no way they're going to beat New Zealand in the forwards.
Farrell. Good tackle from Kalis. This kick again away from Barnett, and some relief at long last for them. Chance to take in some deep breaths as this one goes out over the sideline from Sean Long.
Just a reminder, ladies and gentlemen, please stay off the playing field.
Mind you, it's so amazing that we talk about this New Zealand pack, Toddy, as being so big and strong. It's 607 kegs. Speaking to a hotelier, you would understand that.
Yeah,
and Great Britain weighing in at 629 kegs.
Wow. I shift a few of them every day too, so I know what it's like.
Mate, that's not what Wendy says.
Nigel Wagner to bring it away.
No penalties.
Willie Tallow. Try and break up the middle. Quickly back to his feet. Still fighting with him to take it out the 35-metre mark. And after all of that, a fumble from Varnacolo.
There was a little hand there. The odds are, wasn't here.
Great Britain with a scrum feed to search for some points.
How many minutes is that?
Yeah, this is one of the first, I suppose, times that New Zealand have, the Great Britain side have had been in a good position for a bit of an attack on the Kiwi defence.
Farrell looking for Robinson. Jeez. Gene Namu back out there in 14. Back home, you'd like to say, here at Ericsson, 14-2, the errors against Great Britain. Long. Up the middle for Lawton. First chance. First ever time they've threatened down here. Only 7.5 minutes out from half-time. Farrell. It's amazing how the game can change. Don't forget they led Australia 24-4 at half-time. The Kiwis. And we're talking about two teams in this tri-series who have not really played for the full 80 minutes yet. Sheridan. Long. In behind the line for Barnett to try and tidy up. Drags it in beautifully, one hand. Great balance from the Kiwi skipper. So much better, though, from Great Britain on this set of 6.
Yeah, good defence here from the Great Britain side. They followed that kick through. They knew exactly what was happening. Richie Barnett had a bit of pressure on him here. 3 and 4 players running through from the English boys. And Richie just not been able to get out.
Good communication here between Nigel Wagner and Barnett.
Okay, no starts.
Wagner looking at Barnett, suggesting that he called strongly on the fingertips and so confidently to play at that and drag it back in.
His head. It's good. Nice and low. On one, let it go, Jason. All the way, come on.
Lawton again. Taken by Lowry and Smith. So back-to-back sets of 6 for Great Britain. Probably in a state of shock after all of that. Andy Farrell. Sean Long. Dummies inside to Chris Joint. Then throws one away from Adrian Morley. Picked up by Senior. He goes back to the midfield, but they've actually lost territory on all of that. Robinson to straighten. Robinson. Just get the feeling he's nearly away all the time. Sheridan. Up the middle for Radlinski. Did quite well to drag that in.
That's okay.
So down towards the last 5 before half-time. And there is still the danger of that, Dwayne. I mentioned it. Great Britain certainly couldn't hit the line strongly last week, and the Kiwis lost their legs a bit in the first game here in that second half.
Yeah, both teams much better for the hit out. I think the Great Britain side, it's obvious they're trying to turn the ball back inside, hoping that the chase is lazy from the Kiwis back there, but it's not. The Kiwis have come across, and you mentioned before the communication. We've seen it out wide. Nigel Wagner, an example of his communication with Richie Barnett, but it's happening right across the paddock. I can hear them down on sideline, and certainly that's a reflection of confidence.
Good ball pushed back by Namu for Logan Swan.
Okay, 50 last.
One more tackle for the Kiwis.
No starts. No penalties. No penalties.
That's Henry Paul. And a pretty firm grip on the steering wheel. Brilliant take from Radlinski. Robinson. I don't know how many times he's had to bring the ball away from the Great Britain 20. But he's done it pretty impressively.
He certainly got involved as we have a look at this fantastic take. Radlinski just does not take his eye off the ball. Look at that beautiful stuff, and carries on and makes a few yards. But yeah, Robinson has been one of the standout players there for the Great Britain side. Certainly as a winger, really getting involved.
Come over, come over.
Mike Forshaw in 16. Sheridan. Morley. Knocked down. Wasn't played at though.
Thank you.
Now he says it was. I don't know that Ricky did play at that.
Good call up.
But they get 6 more. And they bring it back through Lawton. Well, he was just making the tackle. Certainly really didn't play at the football.
He did right. Ruben didn't purposely go for the football there, so should have been just carry on with play. But Great Britain really going across the field. Nobody's hitting it up forward and paving the way for their halfbacks. And the defence from New Zealand has just been so strong.
Monstered. Little Sean Long monstered by Joe Wagner. He was looking for a straight runner. There haven't been too many there as Great Britain just keep pushing the pass. Somebody's got to come onto it at pace. That is, if they've got any energy left after all the defence they made in that first 25 minutes.
What's that, man? What's that, Ruck?
Short side, but only searching for the sideline, are they? And out over there, inside the last 3 minutes.
I suppose another thing we could look at is, besides all the defence that the Great Britain side have had to do, is they've been running against their wind. Here's the total tackles there, 101 to 70. They've certainly done a lot of work.
Well, it's only been, Toddy, too, the last 5 or 6 minutes where that started to shorten up with a couple of sets of 6 in a real rush for the Great Britain side. Namu, opening tackle. The call from his skipper and the chase from Barnett. He'll go down one-on-one against Robinson. He might just hold up and try and get some partners either side. They need numbers against this guy. He's so quick. Fine tackle. Bit of a repeat from a fortnight ago. A number of times we said that about Wiki. So they go back down near their own end again, Great Britain. Bradlinski on the inside, he finds Andy Farrell. Cunningham. Farrell. Caught flat-footed, had nowhere really to go. Sean Long. Little halfback's going to show his forwards how to do it right up the middle.
Well, that's a fantastic run there. He hit the advantage line, he's back and made a good 10, 15 metres. That's what the other forwards have to do.
Off the foot of Swain. And he said that wasn't played at. Francis Cummins. Oh, Richard Swain. Wasn't quite sure whether he did just at the last minute try and play at that. Logan Swan. He loses it. Great Britain have it. Still with a chance before the break. And this could be something significant after a tough time out for them. Sean Long with Farrell very wide and a short ball up for Connolly. Bit of a pressure pass with so much defence just sweating on him. Vinacolo now throwing away Ryan Sheridan. And finally put to ground by Cunningham and also Forshaw.
Oh, Andy Farrell's off.
Joe Wagner, good quick ball out. Matt Brewer has some room with Vinacolo here down the sideline. Bradlinski comes across and nabs him. So with a real chance here inside the last 20 seconds to go out towards the other sideline. Kearney leaves it alone for Barnett. Barnett to kick ahead for himself and plenty of others. For Watson, Logan Swan off the ground penalty. I don't know why Nigel Wagner didn't really attack the ball himself. He was first one there. I think he had more time than Logan Swan. He was trying to be unselfish. I think he could have got a double.
Yeah, I think he knows it too. He should have just gone straight in, scooped that ball up and gone over.
Upstairs it goes to the man in control. Video referee tonight, Greg McCallum. Was he on the deck? Was the ball finished off? Now it just broke away from him to the defence. But Nigel Wagner, did he keep it alive? He's off the deck. Off the deck for mine.
Yeah, that's no try.
Momentum was finished. He was rolled to his back. And the scoreline should stay as it was. Great Britain are making their way towards the tunnel.
There was no holding back in the leading up to the try.
Now, Tim Mander is just also checking that nobody was held back out of the play.
Yeah, Richie Barnett was taken out, which looked to be a little bit of a trip.
Barnett put the kick through and a fine kick too.
There's the trip there.
And looked to be taken out second time by Keith Senior. So there might still be some play yet with the Kiwis decide possibly whether to go for two. So they'll watch the play against Barnett. So no try there.
The penalties, I don't know where these blokes are going.
And there might be the penalty against...
Thank you very much. Down here, fellas.
Senior. They'll be called right back to their own line. Crowd don't like it for no try, but this will bring a smile to their face. Well, hang on.
Yeah,
Tim Mander.
Yeah, this way, this way.
Well, hang on. He's given a penalty to Great Britain. I think he's put his hand up the wrong way.
You've got to play.
Yeah, one of the New Zealand players who was taken out.
Andy, just wait here. No, you're going to have a tap then. You've got to play. You've got to play afterwards.
Well, hang on. How did Great Britain get a penalty out of this? Well, he's given it the penalty for passing off the ground, but that was after asking upstairs about the play on Barnett. So
exactly.
Well, things will add up to something here. Very simply put, it'll add up to the Kiwis with a strong scoreline and on their way, very confidently at the moment, to the final of the Tri-Series of 1999. The Kiwis, plenty of possession to send it out at the break at 14-zip. As the Kiwi Stars come out to play and lead here at half-time, trying to head towards next Friday night's final against the Aussies, and they have gone pretty well in the first 40, but I'd still be a little bit concerned at 14-0, Brent Todd.
Well, yeah, I'd be a little bit concerned they may lose this game, but I can't see Great Britain, winning by the extra 20, which makes it 34 they've got to win by. They've got to score 34 points, and New Zealand zilp in the second half. I cannot see that happening.
Just think it's significant, though, that they should have posted more points.
Yeah, the defence of Great Britain has been pretty strong, though, out there. They've really handled on, or hung in there, but I think the New Zealand defence is very strong as well, Even though they've got the wind against them, the New Zealand side, they've got this crowd behind them, and they won't want to throw this one away.
Great support here at Ericsson for them. Congratulations all round for issue number 50 of League News, which is out in New Zealand Monday. Give you a terrific wrap-up on the Warriors season and the Kiwis as they try and set themselves for some history. Andy Farrell takes out Great Britain, who now know that they have to post 34 points in the second half in a shutout against New Zealand, who lead 14-0, for any equation to make the final. More than minor miracles required at Ericsson for them, as the Kiwis wander back out after another fine first 40, where the foundation was laid by this terrific pack of forwards, backed up by the brilliance of the Paul brothers at half and 5/8. What a joint this would be if those brothers could be enticed to the Warriors.
Don't even tease us with it, Scrum. Don't even tease us.
Stephen Kearney used to be a Warrior, now with the Storm, and a grand final ring to his credit. Willie Tallow, impressive in the first half. None more so than this man, though, Henry Paul. Tim Mander, about to get things underway.
That's fine.
14-zip to the Kiwis. Yeah, this is hung up for a long time for Sean Long. Hand off to Barry McDermott. Terrific tackle from Matt Ruhr to start things off.
That's exactly what you need at the start of the first half, because the first 10 minutes is very important. But Matt Ruhr, he's had a tremendous game out there and a beautiful time in taking on the big front rower.
On three, on the line's good.
Near their own 30, Long slow play the ball. Now Lawton turned in the tackle. Right in the midfield, they do have very strong breeze at their backs. And there'll be miles and miles of work for Richie Barnett in this second 40. He's more than capable of bringing it right back.
And that's a good chase from the Great Britain side. You'll see the English boys will really use their kicking game. They'll use the wind to their advantage and just try and pin the New Zealand side back down in their 22. So it's going to be a big effort from New Zealand forwards.
Long wait before the penalty. This is just what they do wrong. They handle the pressure at their own end. They come down. They try to apply some pressure. They just don't maintain it. They cough up too many silly penalties.
Yeah, and it is a silly penalty. It's a little thing that you've got to get right, but it's the little things that make up those big ones. And Great Britain just go on with it too long.
Craig Smith. If the call was good from the touch judge, they would have been penalised again for never getting back 10 metres from that tack restart. Joe Vagana just throws himself into the wall. Not a lot of penalties, but they favour the Kiwis as they go short side to Robbie Paul, Willie Talau. And Sheridan hung on for a long time, but he still picked up about another 7 or 8 metres. Swain showed it towards Craig Smith.
No penalties here, no penalties.
Henry Paul. Who wants it? Terrific step then over the top from Logan Swan. He goes back to support. Goes back out there looking for Nigel Vagana. Stands, pops it back for Ruben Wiki. Finally gives it away to Francis Cummins.
No, knocked on there. No, not gone. Okay by Black, knocked on by White, Black ball.
So now it's going to still come up with the Kiwis, played at by Great Britain and knocked on.
Well, the New Zealand side certainly throwing it around. We'll just have a look here to see what happens, but they're not scared to throw the ball around, playing a little bit of arrogance actually, as Logan Swan takes it up. Now we'll just see if it is knocked on there. Well, gee, it's hard to see, but referee was nice and close.
Well, Robbie Paul broke blindside thinking Logan Swan was going to get that. Logan Swan broke open side thinking Robbie Paul was going to get it. Craig Smith. This time communications have really broken down for the Kiwis in this game.
What's the ball for him?
Swain. Kearney.
1-3, stand up.
Inside the 10.
All the way back.
Joe Vagana, right in front of the post. Good tackle from Kieran Cunningham. Bravely took him on. Henry Paul, decoy runners for Willie Talau. They were tested at the start of this game fully, and they're being tested at the restart in this second half. Now wide, Wiki's there, and so too Robinson. It falls easily for Vainikolo. Lost forward, and the advantage played for Great Britain. Well, Andy Goodway a lot on his mind at half-time. Dwayne Mann, what do you have to say?
Yeah, I think what he had to say is that the missed tackles is just too much for them. They can't afford to go out there and just have all their energy sapped by making this defensive workload on them. They need to play with the ball, make sure they complete their sets. You know, if they can score a try in the opening stages, then he'll be happy and they'll have every chance. On the other hand, Frank Endicott, he said to his blokes, look, we're going great, don't panic, it'll open up if we just make sure we complete our sets. He just wants to make sure that he can keep that score on 0.
Come back, come back.
35 away from their own line, Great Britain. Sean Long for Andy Farrell. And Redlinski trying a bit of a set piece to draw the play back up the middle. Long getting away from Vainikolo. This is where he can be dangerous if he can control it. He can't get to it. Giving too much time with the ball and too much space to wind up, he can be damaging in returning the football.
Yes, he certainly can if he gets a big wind-up, you're right. But that's a nice kick from the Great Britain side. They're using the wind to their advantage, and they're certainly holding on to that ball.
Great kick in the end from Sean Long for a 40-20.
40-20. Just take it back there.
Now that's what we're concerned about. The next scorer in this game really putting a new complexion on, especially if it's Great Britain.
They will certainly fire them up.
Sheridan with the scrum feed. No return from Easton Harris since that first half. Long at 5'8". Dummies a second time. And finally out! Cummins for the line. Great cover. And back inside. Outstanding. He's going to check upstairs.
Great. We want to check whether he's out.
They're going to check over the sideline.
Check whether he actually placed the ball, mate.
And they're also going to check on the grounding of the ball. They rushed over brilliantly in cover defence, the Kiwis, but Cummins just took the full brunt of it and still unloaded on the inside.
Yeah, fantastic pass here. Just look at the defence is nice and strong, but look at that pass inside. He didn't look to go out. That looks like a try to me.
Well, he's right on the spot, Manda, and he had a question on the grounding of the ball, but problem is, I think he just had his body in front of the cameras himself now. Is this grounded? Matt Rua's probably going to cover this one up. So you be the judge. He might send this back to the referee. Greg McCallum might just go back. There was a hint that he lost it there. Lost it.
Well, he
lost the ball. Didn't have control of it with his hand or arm, and the ball was free at the finish.
Yeah, take your time, Greg.
They might call for another one, but this looks as though he lost the ball, Sean Long.
I would go with him.
And this just shows the importance of...
Now the ball, just right here, Toddy, the ball, he is not in control of it with any downward pressure from his hand or his arm. Ball was lost.
Yeah, you're right, that's no try.
Now, Long is all smiles. Now, if he goes back to Manda, he's the man who had the best view. But I got no doubt. I don't believe he had any control at the finish.
Where's the ball?
I don't know how many more times you're going to look at it. I mean, this is where the whole situation for me becomes pointless. If you're just going to look at it and look at it and look at it. Players here looking at the big screen at Ericsson.
Okay, mate.
We turned up to watch a game of football. In the end, the footballers are watching us.
Just have a look here and see if his second hand comes across and grounds the ball. It's no try.
Now he's awarded a try, and I believe Timmy Manda on debut. Confidently he did it in the end, but I believe the man to be wrong.
It wasn't real clear, mate.
14-4. Crowd don't like it. They've been watching here on the screen as well. And I always argue that if you've got that much doubt about it, like having to watch it so many times, then who does the doubt go to? Surely the defending side. But a brilliant ball back on the inside from Cummins.
Yeah, certainly. That's just what the English side needed. And out wide there, they just moved the defence. The defence was there from the New Zealand side, but it was a fantastic ball. But, well, it sets up a great second half here, because the first team that scores usually goes on with it. Even though we may say it wasn't a try, it's on the board now.
Andy Farrell to edge them even closer. Off the posts. But there's a wake-up call here still in the second 40 for the Kiwis at 14-4. Sean Long with a try here that might just re-spark Great Britain. And Dwayne Mann also make sure the Kiwis don't get into too many bad habits as far as next week's final is concerned.
Absolutely. Individually, there have been some good performances from this Great Britain side. We spoke about the tackle work rate of Kieran Cunningham. He's been fantastic. Garrett Connolly also out in the centres, just needing some attacking options, and that's what Sean Long can provide for them. Some news on Yeston Harris. I don't think he'll be back in the match. Suffered a groin strain in the first half, and there are a lot of concerns about him. Just an official crowd figure at this stage, 11,961.
Dwayne, just got to ask you about the try being awarded. How did you see it?
Well, I thought, like you, it was too long to have a look at it. The referee was right there, and you have got Greg McCullough, who's a very experienced man, sitting up in the video replay box. And, you know, he was right there, and Tim Manda, he made a call. I thought that, like Toddy, hit the left hand. That was obscured, and possibly that was the one that allowed the referee to make his call.
Andy Farrell. Still big time in possession for the Kiwis, and they have sparked up Great Britain, as you would expect. Barnett with a fumble. Here's the turnaround. Look out.
Well, so often you see a team score a try, and that's that little bit of lift that they need. They'll start trying things, little chip kicks like this, and they'll start to come off for you.
He attacked the ball, as he so often does.
We just got a blood bin.
But he got it to break away from him. So now concerns if Great Britain can find another quick one. Craig Smith with a blunt bin. And Jason Lowry hurries out to this scrum.
Take your time, Kerry.
Sean Long has had an impact in this game for Great Britain.
They got the blind, I think. This way, this way.
And Jason Lowry just takes his time to get there,
Nice
gives his
easy.
teammates
Nice and easy.
bit of a breather. Long. Bradlinski is the decoy. Great tackle from Barnett on Connolly. That might turn it around. Now, Mandicall's knocked back against Connolly. But what a tackle from Barnett. Robinson. Straight across the other side of the field.
Bring it back. Steve!
Sheridan was waiting for it. Instead, McDermott went down to Cummins, who was by his lonesome on the blind side. Now for Lawton.
Stand up! On 4.
Long. He has ignited them. Andy Farrell standing for such a long time. Betts. Scrambling stuff from the Kiwis. Cunningham. Logan Swan was offside. And Long just to the end goal to bring it back for them. Barnett has to put it dead. So they're getting back some of their own medicine, the Kiwis, and having to make some big tackles.
Yeah, they certainly are. Richard Barnett put in a big one there before, but Great Britain are on fire at the moment. They're trying everything in the book. Here's the tackle from Richie Barnett. Fantastic stuff from the captain, but it wasn't enough because Great Britain are still hot on attack.
I've said it before, this has been a long wait for the restart. A couple of the Kiwis threw away a couple of footballs to waste time. I truly believe it sends out the wrong messages to everybody. Put you back mentally on your heels.
Yeah, it certainly does. You've got to be careful that you go into that go slow mode and things don't work for you. You're not trying as hard. Great Britain certainly are, though.
McDermott.
That's under control, under control.
Now for Sheridan. And for Lawton.
Back 3, stand up, no hands.
If they can find points on the end of this, it is more than interesting with so much time remaining. You want to go in to a final in a winning frame of mind. I think that was knocked on by Connolly. Ball did travel forward before coming back off a Kiwi. But he's called it okay. Inside the 20, last tackle.
Okay.
Plucked out of the air by Henry Paul. And away from Farrell. Away from Joint. And magnificent ball for Nigel Wagner. Nigel Wagner. Here's the race. Who's going to foot it? Ratlinski. Nigel Wagner. What a try. What a stunner. He's an outstanding finisher in Warriors colours. Carries it on for the Kiwis. But take a bow. Henry Paul.
Yes, great stuff from Henry Paul there. Just goes across and looking for the gap. The defence was wrong-footed and a tremendous pass. Still had a lot of work to do, Nigel did. But he's got plenty of pace. The chase was on from Great Britain. What a turnaround from the New Zealand side. They've absorbed all the pressure and they come up with this. And the crowd love it.
Chris Radlinski, he's no slouch. Look at Henry Paul, just ghost across the field. Have a look at Nigel Wagner. This is something special, something out of the rugby league book of fantastic play. And look at him go, just stride for stride, and he ends up just gashing away. It's just unbelievable seeing a player in full flight. Have a look at him go, makes it look easy, and against the run of play, what a reply from the Kiwis.
Great skill, great to watch, and deserves the right finish. Another 2 points. Bit more icing on the cake after all of that brilliance. How'd you like that motor parked in your garage? 24.
Yes, it was certainly great to watch from the real turnaround, and just shows you that they didn't use up too much petrol. The the New Zealand side, because look at him. Look at him go. Plenty of pace. Oh, I'd love to have that sort of pace when I was playing. Look at that.
Well, you're a four-wheel drive merchant, Toddy. This is a Ferrari. Leave it alone. Doesn't mind the celebrations either.
I know where you carry that spare tyre too, Toddy.
Oh, don't even start, you. Double chin.
Lowry. Plenty of line breaks after all that early possession, and that might just break the back of Great Britain, who were trying to climb back into it.
Yeah, you can see the New Zealand side now have really picked up. They've upped the tempo. They know they can run away with this game. They may have just broken the camel's back in the Great Britain side.
High shot put in. Sean Long, the culprit, call out. He makes his apologies for the mistiming of the tackle on Ruben Wiki.
Just get him down here, okay? That's okay.
You'd have to add a couple of bags of concrete to upset this guy.
You certainly would. It'll take a lot more than that. He was one tough customer.
Dwayne, I think this is where the Kiwis have really just got to finish off with real power as far as maintaining their thoughts about next Friday night. Mistakes like this can't possibly be allowed to continue.
Well, that's one that Craig Smith will be filthy on. It's just as a prop, you pride yourself on taking those hit-ups, and that was a poor reply just from the opening start to gain some possession and some field position, but yet they must go on with it. And we spoke about that, you know, with the two Pauls, they're playing this game where in the first half they ran onto the ball, they went across the ad line, and as long as they don't just both drift across the field and fail to pick up runners, well, then they're doing everything right.
Senior forced back up the middle as they rush in the Kiwis.
All the way back. Wait here. Wait.
Still a big stat against Great Britain, spending so much time downtown. Farrell, been a hard night out for the captain.
Oh, okay, it wasn't you.
And it's been a tough tour around this tri-series for Great Britain.
Come back. Come back. And go early.
Who I think still have one more match to be played on this tour. They line up in an international, I think, against, it might be Tonga. The team that drops out of this tri-series has to contend with all of that now as this one goes down towards Barnett.
Okay, what you said?
So much to like about Barnett, and I certainly like him in that number one role rather than in the centres.
Yeah, he brings the ball back. He's a real solid player, someone you need at the back like that. And, take a high ball, but he always beats that first player. And when you get a kick against you and you're a forward, there's nothing better than seeing your fullback bring it right back towards you. He's got all the qualities of a fantastic player.
With the brilliance of Henry Paul and the good running play and back up from Robbie Paul, as this one is called back for a forward pass, it begs the question. Huge loss, Stacey Jones, but what about the backup now with the Paul brothers?
Well, they seem to play so well together, and I mean, we'd all love to see Stacey out there, and it's a huge tragedy that he's not. But they have handled it pretty well, but we still won't know until they come up against that Australian side, because the more the Australian side play, as we saw last week against Great Britain, the better they seem to get.
Long. On the inside this time for Senior. Pushes it back for Sheridan. Certainly not the crowd they had here against the Aussies, but they have made some sort of racket. Connolly pushes it out for Sheridan. Somebody's got to take off. Back on the inside now for Senior. Sean Long again for Redlinski. Andy Farrell into space to take on Barnett. Terrific tackle, one-on-one in front of your own post. Long has tried everything since he's replaced Easton Harris. Cunningham.
Oh, got no options.
Floating it out. Forshaw back on the inside for Andy Hay. They keep it moving, and Cunningham tries to straighten, but great tackle. You know who. Forshaw just short of the line, and on the last tackle will be a handover.
Come back, come back, come back.
Frank Endicott alongside Stacey Jones. Picks up the phone, speaks to Chris Anderson and says, yeah, we can keep it travelling next Friday night.
Yeah, it's amazing what sort of message they send out there, the coaches. They get a bit frustrated, and you wouldn't want to be one of the runners who run out there on the field all the time, taking messages out to the key players. But here's the forward from the New Zealand side. They're ready to muscle up now.
Amazing how that really has closed. The sets in possession, the completed sets now really has climbed together as well. Robbie Paul, well taken by Willie Tallow.
He's had a great game out there, Tallow too. He's a tremendous player, and the Paul boys are using him well.
Change it over. Change over.
Further injury reports, Dwayne.
Some news from the great British camp. Adrian Morley suffered a head blow. There's days for worse for wear, and he won't be back in this match. And they just need some player. He was one of them that would probably offered a clean line break for this Great Britain side. They are struggling again. They've tried the kicking option, little short kicks over the top, but they're going to have to play this ball and shift it out a couple wide. Their wingers have really been starved of work. We've spoken about Jason Robinson. He's had to come in, but that man Andy Farrell, he's been involved a lot more trying to run some holes.
Still maintaining that line, both sides of the ruck. The Kiwis kept a good straight line, didn't knock off from their work. Andy Hay. Long for Farrell. Plenty of Australian clubs chasing him for next season. He's made it known that he wants to play in the NRL. Barnett from the back. Outstanding stuff. Wicky just ran right through Francis Cummins. Smith.
Yeah, Richie Barnett's had a fantastic game out there. Just look at this take. Real Aussie rule style. Geez, solid behind.
Tanley, and they want to get on with it quickly, the Kiwis. They all rushed up, but Manda just waits for the spot to be marked. Now, Henry Paul's looking to the long side of the field. And just takes a quick tap. He noticed that Great Britain had just knocked off. And he picks up an easy 12, 15 metres.
Wait, Andy.
Kearney. So dangerous when he starts to get 2 or 3 players out wide on that ruck. Robbie Paul for Joe Vagana. And very well be that Joe Vagana could be the difference next week against an Australian pack.
What's 16's name, Greg?
Well, he's certainly going to have to be on his game, as we see here. Just fighting to get up, but
Mick, is it?
ball being ripped out by Great Britain.
Points? 2 points?
Henry Paul was settled with goal kicking practice. Joe Vagana. In the last 2 seasons, Dwayne, he has climbed to a rating possibly of the best in the world.
And there's no mistake, a lot of that has been under the coaching of Mark Graham with the Warriors. Just been able to get Joe to make sure that he's effective in running the correct lines. Just on the penalty, Richie Barnett, he is having a big game straight away. He came up, made sure he indicated to Henry Paul, look, this is within your range, have a go.
It's to 100% still. It's the way it's going to stay. His range and radar has been terrific. Both matches at Ericsson, 22-4.
You want a shorty?
Still plenty of time. Still plenty of time in this one. Game 3 of the Tri-Series. And an impressive scoreline for the Kiwis, who just need to keep it travelling that way. Finish off strongly, psychologically, confidence-wise for the final next Friday night.
And I suppose the other thing that we really hope doesn't happen, and we shouldn't really say it, is that they all come off the field without any injuries, because they're going to need the top 13. They're going to need their best players possible to take on the Australian side.
Massive missed tackle count against Great Britain.
1-3, come back. Barry, wait with me, mate. Wait with me.
The impression is that they just struggle with the pace of the way New Zealand and Australia play the game.
Well, it's just a nice quick play of the balls, and it's much easier to get a bit of a roll on, and that's where the Paul brothers, they seem to like it. That's where Stacey and the 5/8, they all work well, and nice quick play of the ball is a good roll on.
Okay. Really have been stunned. This Great Britain side, individually, they play against Henry Paul so much in their own English season, but tonight, every time he's had the ball in his hands, you'd swear blind he's got a disease. And they've all stayed away from him.
Yeah, well, he twists and twirls, and he's one of those players, when he's got the ball, you just don't know what he's going to do. He's got so many options, and when you're a player like that, it's very hard to defend against.
Come back, Steve, no penalties.
17 errors in their own half. Dug their own grave on so many occasions. Farrell. Big breeze at his back. Vainikolo on his fingertips. Good chase from Great Britain.
Okay, wide, let it go. Don't stuff it up. Don't stuff it up. Yeah, don't stuff it up. Keith.
Kidwell.
Come back.
Hasn't had a lot of time in this one, but he gets his chance from the bench, and great balance and control from Vainikolo. I think the Australians might kick differently to this guy next week. A lot of the NRL clubs like to kick the ball along the deck against Vainikolo.
Yeah, you certainly don't want to kick to him on the fly so he gets a good run up, because he reminds me a lot of Mal Meninga, how he used to, when he get the ball, can steam over top of a player quite easily.
Kearney went back for it, restarted. Through the legs of Barnett. And for Henry Paul to send it out towards the sideline. And Francis Cummins, who goes back midfield looking for Redlinski, but ends up in a whole heap of trouble in the shape of Kidwell and Logan Swan.
Wait here.
Robinson puts it down. They're walking at the moment, Great Britain, and they're going to get stung again. Craig Smith just didn't have the legs, hit the wall a bit, badly bunched. Another mistake in their own territory. Will the Kiwis make them pay? Kearney will. Kearney towards the post.
1-2, stand up, Steve. Don't go, Gary. Andy.
Henry Paul for Joe Vuggenup. Was it stolen?
Thank you.
So Vuggenup got up looking, looks over at the touch judge, no call from him. Well, they come off the boil.
They want to slow the ball down. It's flowing, Richie. We're right, mate.
Yeah, Big Joe seems to think the ball was stolen. We'll just have a look. He's looking to get up to play it. The hands are in there. Yeah, I reckon it was stolen. I mean, he's got a fair case to answer to, Joe, there.
Thought there was a little tap from behind from Andy Farrell, who got away with it.
Yep.
To square up the handling errors. Manda was probably let down by his touch judge on that occasion.
I think that's impressive about the New Zealand side on attack is their decoy runners. They've got plenty of them. It does help the guy who's taking the ball up.
We'll give you one chance. How about we give you another one just as quick? Right in front of the posts, and you've got to defend against this Kiwi side either side. Well, nice shot from Barnett.
Well, it's a little thing too, you know, a little knock-on like that, but if you're not concentrating your mind on the job, it can cost you a game, and it certainly has cost Great Britain. They just don't look as though they're 100% minds on the job out there.
Robbie Paul has brother Henry on his left-hand side, the skipper Richie Barnett right side with plenty of space. He goes to the skipper. Can't improve things, still 10 metres away. Inside the last 13, looking for another try. Kidwell, 5 away. Kalis. For the moment, just a little bit one out as they set themselves, the Kiwis. Robbie Paul, inside, Craig Smith. Did well to take it to the line and then show the support on the inside. Henry Paul for Joe Vuggenup to one. And Joe Vuggenup crashes through.
action there.
Now, there was a decoy runner that Manda wants to check to make sure the decoy runner took nobody out of play. Joe Buggener, way too big and strong with some room to move inside the last 10. Nobody had stopped him.
Yeah, we talked about New Zealand's decoy runners have been very, very effective out there tonight. And there we go, Stephen Kearney takes a player out. I doubt whether he would have got to Joe. I think Joe would have still scored that try.
Yeah, I don't think that comes into play. Steve Kearney going through. I mean, he had his arms around him, but, you know, he's got every right just to run his line and hold his line. We spoke about Joe Buggener and the impact he can make, and it's just been set up superbly, just hitting on the side. It was evident in the first half. This is what was working for them, the smart play off the ball, and that's what Stephen Kearney provided. Allows Joe too big, too strong. Connolly appealed immediately. You've got to ask yourself, would he have had time to turn and make a play? This is still a tough call for Greg McCallum upstairs, because Connolly looked as though he might have been able to come back and make a play, because that's the line that Joe Buggener takes. Now, he's trying to break free there. He might have had time to fill a hole.
Steve Kearney looks as though he's got his arms around him as well, holding him back, so...
Well, I disagree, Toddy. I think he had let go, and he certainly had his arms falling down by his side.
I was just about to say the same thing, Dwayne.
Good on you.
He gets a chance to salute the crowd here. But it's Henry Paul again, with a hand in everything. Just setting up the decoy runners, and Sean Long said to himself, heavens above, what's this?
It's a steam train.
His first 20 minutes against the Australians might be a key next week, Joe Buggener. 5 from 5. Now he's out wide near the sideline to make it 6 from 6. Coming around too far. They're in fine form. 26-4. Just good quick clearance from the play of the ball area, and he can motor for a big man.
Okay, wait. Let's fight.
So in the space of 7 days, Great Britain have had 68 points scored against them. And there's still 11 minutes.
That's a lot of points they have scored against you. They certainly do have to work on their defence. I suppose the thing that I've noticed about the Great Britain side is that they just haven't gone forward. They've run across the field, even their wingers, they all run across the field looking for the gaps. But if you hold your defence like New Zealand has done, there's no way you can get through.
Namu appeals as Joe Buggener backs up again. Fumble from the Kiwis. And back come Great Britain.
Yeah, the defence has been very, very strong from New Zealand side. Without doubt, they'll be sort of setting their minds a little bit now to this Australian final next weekend.
Senior. One-hander back. Sean Long. Dozen metres away. Looking to put plenty of respect back into this. Radlinski without it on the inside. Cunningham. Back it comes McDermott.
Hands right out there, right out.
Sean Long. Off the legs of Matt Ruhr, tries to recover it. Back for Great Britain. Now for Connolly. And a lot of tackles. No chances in attack. And in behind, well taken. The specialist first slip in the Kiwi lineup, Joe Buggener.
He's had a tremendous game out there, Big Joe, isn't he? The two forwards have done well, and I know Big Joe, he really wanted to have a big one for his little mate Stacey Jones, so he's certainly done that. And he does pave the way for the Kiwis. We'll need a big one next week, though, because that's when the Kiwis are going to be put to the test. They're looking pretty good to me.
Well,
Lowry. Just put a quick one to you, Dwayne, about the possibility of this bench still of Frank Endicott. Is this the right 17 for the Australians? Or do you need maybe another rotation of a big, strong forward?
Well, that's a good question, mate. I think that you have to look at how the link has been working between the forwards and the backs, and I think the two Paul brothers have done a marvellous job. They've been able to provide that service. The centres have been involved, and the forwards have been able to, just get across that advantage line. We've seen the play that Stacey offers, and I don't think we lose, with all the respect to Stacey. I think the Paul brothers provide something special as well. On the other hand, with the Great Britain side, I don't think they'll offer too many excuses after this game in terms of their fitness or the length of the season. I think they were just outskilled on the night. I think they have missed the loss of Paul Anderson. He's a big player who can provide some punch. Looking at the depth of the players bench for this Great Britain side, I don't think their forwards, Barry McDermott, have been able to do that for them.
Okay, last one.
Right on the 50. Fascinating final. Just remember that this final next Friday night will set up a chance at history. Chance to write a page of it for the Kiwis and Frank Endicott, even minus Stacey Jones, because the Australians, as the acknowledged world champs, and Richie Barnett knows that, they haven't lost a series they've been involved in since 1972.
That brings a bit of a smile to your face, Grant, but I can tell you next week...
I did say that with some feeling, didn't I?
Next week it's all on, buddy. I can tell you that.
And if it's a Kiwi victory, I'll be straight to bed.
When have you ever gone straight to bed, mate?
Kid ball. Vainicolo. Brushing away plenty of defenders. Tired ones at that. No doubt that first 20-minute onslaught, playing this Tri-Series International without the ball, has taken a huge toll.
Yeah, that certainly has. I mean, to do that many tackles, to tackle for that many sets of six, when you're tackling someone, it takes a lot of energy.
Rua. Great hands, great balance from Henry Paul, and away from Senior, and away from Long, and away from Religi. Henry Paul! Just check out the skill in this run. Check out the catch, the balance, and the fact that he nearly turned it into a stunning individual try.
And that's exactly what he is. He's a stunning little individual. He's got so much poise, hasn't he? The ability just to run around players. He's got so many tricks. Have a look. Looking to pass it inside. He knows he took it one person too far.
Step, dummy, swerve, saw it all in just that short space. Robinson. In years gone by, you would have said that you pull out somebody like Stacey Jones, you wouldn't mark up their chances against the Australians.
Well, I've got to say, I've been very impressed with this side. I had a little bit of doubt because of the fact of Stacey Jones being out. He was such a big blow to the side, and because they were dead set hot favourites to win this, sometimes that can go against you mentally. But I've been very, very impressed with this Kiwi side, and I've got to say, even though the Australians have improved with every game, it's going to be a great, great test match next Friday night.
Ericsson Stadium is going to be the place to be as Wiki takes it across field. His defence will be all important against the likes of Russell Richardson and Matthew Gidley. And are you going to see a better clash in football anywhere, and I mean football, than Fittler versus Henry Paul? What a showdown. Ericsson Stadium does the trick again, and it is a place to rock everybody. The intimidation factor here, way high. Kearney just teasing with them, really.
On three. Wait for it, Andy. They go early.
Robbie Paul. He's given great service. He's known just to keep on shoveling it out tonight. He really hasn't had to take on the line much himself. He'll do a lot more of that next Friday night. Vainicolo.
Okay, from the last.
One more tackle.
17.
Hey, back up. Wait here. 17, wait.
Namu to bomb away. Near the post for Redlinski.
Oh, here we go.
Bounce will send it too deep. And back to the 20. Just under 3.5. And 3.5 minutes maybe for still another page of history. Nigel Vagana has a double. Nearly had another one in the first 40. No Kiwi has ever scored a hat-trick against Great Britain.
If there's someone who can do it, Nigel Vagana's got the speed and ability to do it. Tremendous player.
Just wait for Kieran. Okay.
You see Great Britain players there just not giving up, going in and still trying with 3 minutes to go. New Zealand can do what they want, really. They've won the game.
Andy Farrell went looking for territory and didn't send it over that sideline, so the Kiwis still with possession. Craig Smith.
You talk about clashes with the four boys and Brad Fittler. What about the front row clashes next Friday? Big Joe and Craig Smith. They can compete with anyone.
You'll be in fantasy land all week sleeping on that. Matt Rua. Henry Paul wide for Kearney to step. Tried to pop up a ball for Robbie Paul. He somehow got it to him. Robbie Paul couldn't hang on to it.
Come off, guys, come off.
Steve.
Robinson just handing it off for Connolly. Kearney can get some miracle balls away, and he just popped it, tried to tap it back to Robbie Paul. He knew that if he hung on, he had a chance to get around Redlinski.
Where's the line here? Here it is.
Tough season finish for Great Britain. They had to produce the defensive effort of their life in the first 20 minutes of this game. Farrell flicking it inside for Connolly. He hands it off to Sean Long. And Long puts it behind Dennis Betts.
Jeez, I'm getting dizzy.
Somebody has to straighten up.
Yeah, it's been a problem for the Great Britain side, just running across the field all night. Very easy to defend against as you hold your line. New Zealand have done it well.
Sheridan chipping into some space. Vainikolo sitting it up easily for him. Gets away from Andy Hay, gets away from Connolly, and can't get away from Robinson.
Come up, guys, come up, come up, come up.
Wait. Keith!
Dying seconds, Namu. Is there anything left?
Come on, let's go, make it.
Maybe from the Paul brothers. Henry going nice and wide for some numbers for Logan Swan. Inside now, Kidwell.
On three. Right off, hands.
Still a couple of tackles.
All the way back. Come on, fellas, work it.
Should finish this set. Craig Smith turning, fighting with them. 35 away. This is it. Henry Paul just in behind the line. Easy one for Abusi in the end. He loses it, still alive. Who wants it? Namu picks it up. It's not done with yet. Everybody stood around looking. Namu back inside for Vainikolo. He kicks ahead. Robertson has a chance. He skips inside. And a second time away from Kearney. Now in the midfield says, hang on, that's it.
That's it, ladies and gentlemen. Please
Frank Endicott will have his best ever chance next week. Best ever opportunity now for New Zealand to make it classic, to make it something monumental in the final of the Tri-Series. They've got the forwards, they've got the backs. They might be without Stacey Jones, but they've still got some ammunition to fire. Big scoreline for them in the finish. 26-4 the Kiwis. Players like Craig Smith and Joe Vagana, all important against the Australians next week. But they've got them everywhere, and players like Nigel Vagana who can turn it as well.
Well, that's the beauty about the New Zealand side. They've got great forwards who set up a nice platform. They've got fantastic little halves in the Paul brothers, but out wide, you know, Ruben Wiki, who's one of the best defenders in the game, and Also Bagana, who can score tries. They're a very, very well balanced side. And just to cap it off, Richie Barnett down the back.
Turning into a nice solid captain of his country. Terrific reception for the Kiwis. Sean Long grabs himself a Kiwi jumper. But no Stacey Jones, and the real key to this one really has been all week to talk about the combination, the communication that they were going to set up that was going to be needed. And that communication is needed between Robbie and Henry Paul. Let's take you down sideline. Here they are with Dwayne Mann.
Yeah, congratulations, Robbie. Fantastic effort. Slotting into the halfback role. Thought you were busy right throughout. Where did you see your real strengths today?
I think our forwards did really well. They set the platform for us real early, and our defence was also a key factor. I think we frustrated the British team there tonight, and that's what we set out to do.
Henry Paul, your kicking game was fantastic. Not just the shots at goal, but your ability to do that. Will it be a big play that you look for again next week?
Yeah, I got a lot of advice off Stacey, him been playing here, of course, at Ericsson. He said just hit it as hard as you can and things will probably turn out as long as we've got a good chase. And today the boys just chased all day and really want to put on a big effort for the crowd.
Yeah, I thought your forwards done a fantastic job, just giving you a bit of room, and it worked well for you.
No, the forwards and the backs worked well, complemented each other, and it was just a really good team effort tonight.
Yeah, congratulations, Henry and Robbie Paul.
Thanks very much, Wayne.
Crowd of around 12,000. And the Kiwis line up now for the final of the Tri-Series against Australia. What a night it's going to be. 26-4.